Hi guys, LameoDuelist here, and this is my video for Pozjoker's Commons and Rares Only deck contest. This is a Spellcaster deck, and which uses Spellcounters to basically get card advantage and win. Okay, so let's start off. First, I have 3 Apprentice Magicians. This is part of your spell counter and your draw power engine. When this card is destroyed, you search out for another of these, and next turn you flip summon it, and you basically add a spell counter to something. Or when this is destroyed, you can search out for the next card that I'm going to show you and get draw power. Okay, so next are 2 Crystal Seers. Flip these, pick up the top 2, and then pick one of them, and you put it in your hand. The other goes to the bottom of your deck. It's really good because you get to choose what you want in your hand for what's needed, and it's searchable by Apprentice Magician. Next are your main source of spell counters, 3 Magical Exemplars. It seems hollow on the video, but these are all common from the Spellcaster's commands deck. Yeah. So she gets 2 spell counters for every spell card you play, which is actually more than your regular spellcasters. And this card can special summon monsters from your hand or grave if the level is equal to the spellcasters you remove from this card. So it's a really great card overall. 1700 attack is pretty good. Okay, next are your main attackers, 2 Magical Marionettes. When this card is on the field and you or your opponent play spells, it gets spell counters, and for every spell counter, this card gains 200 attack points, and you can remove 2 of them to destroy 1 monster on the field. So this is basically monster destruction and a beat stick combined into one. Really good, and it's searchable by Magician Circle. And this is also your prime target for Magical Dimension, which I'm going to show you guys a little bit later. Up next, there are 2 defenders. This is basically your anti-destruction, because instead of spellcasters being destroyed, you can destroy spell counters instead. And this combined with a torrential is just really good, because you can use the torrential to destroy all monsters on the field. Then you use defender to protect your own monsters. So it's just really good. I recommend 2. 3 is usually overkill and you don't need more. 1 could also work, but 2 is the best. Up next is Breaker. It's Breaker. 1900 beat stick or a spell trap removal. You can also fuel this with your Apprentice engine or your Magical Citadel. Up next is Dark Red Enchanter. Make sure opponent discard 1 by removing 2 spell counters from this card. You do not want to special summon this with Dark Magician Circle or Magical Dimension, because it only gets its counters when it's normal summoned. But anyway, it's still really good, because having your opponent discard can be a huge benefit for you. Up next is your main level 4 beat stick, 3 skilled Dark Magicians. It's basically 1900, but able to get spell counters. So this is basically a holder until it gets destroyed, so that it can move its counters to Citadel. Final monster is Dark Magician. There are many times when you have a skilled Dark Magician with 3 spell counters, and basically this card is just handy to have in your deck. Also a good target for Magical Dimension. Alright, up next are the spells, the most important part of this deck. So first, there are 2 Magical Citadel of Endymions. This is basically a bank for your spell counters, and any spell counters that will be destroyed, this card gets them. So it's a bank and a safety net. 2 Terraformings searches out your Citadels. 3 Spell Power Grasp. This is your main source of spell counters. Basically, you play this, one of your monsters gets 1 spell counter, and because this is a spell card, every other monster that can get spell counters gets spell counters for this card. And then after that, you search out for another copy. to use on your next turn, because this is once per turn. But really good. And it replenishes itself, so no downside at all. 3 enemy controllers. I like this card over Book of Moon because you can use its second effect to tribute Crystal Seers that are used up or Apprentice Magicians and take control of your opponent's monsters, and just puts a real thorn at their side most of the time. It's really good. Next are 2 Magical Dimensions. This is basically swapping out one of your on-field spellcasters for any other one, preferably a stronger version. It also afterwards destroys 1 monster on the field, so it's good monster destruction. And another thing is Stardust cannot negate this because this card's destruction is an optional effect, and Stardust can't negate those. So really good. Prime targets for Magical Dimension would be Marionette and Dark Magician. Don't special summon Dark Red Enchanter with that. Really bad if you do. Up next is a Monster Reborn staple card. Mystical Space Typhoon, staple. Brain Control, another staple. Heavy Storm. I prefer this over Giant Trunade because Trunade screws over your own Citadel, because Citadel can negate its destruction, then gain another spell counter if it has a spell counter already. So Heavy Storm over Trunade in this deck. And finally, Swords. Stalls for time you need for combos. Sometimes you don't want this because you want an Apprentice destroyed, but I like it. Finally, the traps. Torrential. Combo this with a defender, and you just destroyed your opponent's entire field just for this and a couple of spell counters. Try out that combo. It works really well, and your opponent will not expect it. 2 compulsories. Prefer bottomless over these, but I don't have any right now, so. And finally, 2 magician circles. This is your main speed. This is your search power. I recommend 2, maybe 3. I haven't tested out 3, but I will. And basically, this searches any spellcaster with 2,000 attack or less when one of your monsters attacks, and that spellcaster also gets an attack because it's still during your battle phase. Keep in mind your opponent also searches for a spellcaster, but usually they don't have any. Not in this format, except maybe Lightsworn. Alright guys, that was my spellcaster deck. So thanks a lot for watching. Sorry. Thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully you like this vid. Peace out, YouTube. Later.